Imagine being married for almost 10 years, building a life, a home, and trusting someone with every part of you, only to realize that everything you thought was love was nothing but a carefully crafted lie. Now imagine that the betrayal didn't just come from your husband, but from your closest circle, the people you swore would protect you. That's what happened to me. And before I dive into my story, I want to ask you two things. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? And also, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing the different places this story reaches. My name is Anna, I'm 36 years old, and until last year I thought I had the perfect life. I was married to David, a man everyone admired. Handsome, charming, dependable. We had a beautiful home in Virginia, a 9-year-old daughter named Lily, and from the outside, we looked like the picture of happiness. But sometimes pictures lie. And sometimes, the person smiling beside you in every photo is also the one holding the knife behind your back. Started small. Late nights at work. Unexplained business trips. His phone face down at dinner, a password I suddenly didn't know. I confronted him once, gently. He smiled, kissed my forehead and said, "Anna, you're overthinking. You know how stressful things are at the firm." And I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. Because the alternative, that he was lying, would shatter me. So I ignored the gut feeling. But your gut never lies. One night, David rushed out for an emergency meeting and left his phone on the counter. I knew I shouldn't look. But something in me, call it instinct, call it survival, told me I had to. Opened it. And what I found didn't just break my heart. It destroyed the very foundation of my marriage. There were messages. Hundreds of them. Not just to one woman. But to three. 3 different women. Some texts were flirtatious. Some were intimate. And some were cold, calculating conversations about money, transactions, things that had nothing to do with love and everything to do with betrayal. And one name kept popping up in those conversations. Sophia. Not one of the women he was seeing, but my best friend. Sophia had been in my life since college. She was there when Lily was born, she stood beside me at my wedding. She was the one I called when I needed advice or comfort. But buried in those texts were threads of conversations between her and David. And they weren't about me. They were about property, bank accounts, life insurance policies. I realized then this wasn't just about infidelity. This was about a plan. A bigger one. And I was the target. The next day, I confronted David. I didn't scream, didn't throw things. I just asked one question. Why? He looked at me with those same calm eyes I'd fallen in love with and said, "Because you made it easy." That sentence will haunt me forever. Then he added, "You were so busy being the perfect wife, the perfect mom, you never noticed what was right in front of you." He didn't deny the affairs. He didn't deny Sophia. He just admitted it like it was nothing. I kicked him out that night. I thought that was the end of it. But I was wrong. 2 weeks later, David disappeared. His car was found in a parking lot, his wallet inside, his phone gone. The police questioned me. I told them the truth. But then Sophia vanished too. And suddenly the whispers began. Neighbors looked at me differently. Some said I drove him away. Some said I knew more than I admitted. And then, late one night, as I tucked Lily into bed, I heard a noise outside. On the porch was an envelope. Inside, a note written in David's handwriting. It said, "Anna, you were never supposed to find out. But now you know too much. And Sophia isn't who you think she is." I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I felt like I was losing my mind. So I dug deeper. I pulled old financial records. Checked accounts I never bothered with before. And what I found made my blood run cold. 4 years. David and Sophia had been funneling money. From joint accounts. From Lily's college fund. From my inheritance after my parents died. And there were transfers. Large sums wired overseas. It wasn't just cheating. It wasn't just betrayal. It was theft. And suddenly my husband and my best friend weren't just liars. They were criminals. One evening while leaving work, a man approached me in the parking lot. He wore a black jacket, hands stuffed in his pockets. "Mrs. Walker?" he asked. Froze. "Who are you?" He handed me a USB drive. "They're not who you think. Protect your daughter. And don't trust the police." Then he vanished into the night. Home, I plugged it in. And on that drive were recordings, emails, documents, proof that David and Sophia were part of a larger scheme, a fraud operation tied to international accounts. And one email chilled me to the bone. It was from Sophia to David. It said, "Once Anna's out of the picture, everything is ours." That night I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table with a knife by my side, waiting for something, anything. And just after 3 a.m. I heard the back door creak open. A step. And then her voice. "Fizz. Anna, I know you're awake. Let's talk." I gripped the knife tighter. She stepped into the light, calm as ever, her eyes cold. "You should have stayed blind. You ruined everything." Before I could respond, she lunged. We fought, the knife clattering to the floor, our screams waking Lily upstairs. And just as Sophia raised her hand to strike me with a heavy candlestick, I grabbed the knife again. And I did what I had to do. When it was over, Sophia lay motionless on the floor. The police came. They found the USB, the records, the note. They ruled it self-defense. But David, he was never found. Some say he fled the country. Some say he's dead. But sometimes late at night my phone rings. I answer, and there's silence on the other end. And then, a whisper. "You'll never be free of me, Anna." So what's the lesson here? Simple. Betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it's the person sleeping beside you, or the friend you trust with your life. Tell me in the comments, if you discovered your husband and best friend had betrayed you like this, what would you have done? And don't forget to let me know where you're watching from. I love connecting with people through these stories. And if this story gave you chills, hit like, subscribe, and share it. Because sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that could happen to any of us.